All right, so I picked up the Hooters, but I'm not done thanking everybody. I'd also like to thank my dance teachers, and I've had so many of them, and so many voice teachers that I don't always remember their name, like Lois Saunier. She helped me with voice. I do not remember the voice teacher's name at the actor studio, and I'm sorry for being upset about the schedule change thing between the classes. I know you're a very delicate, beautiful person with a great voice, and you helped me so much with voice. Max Luna III, Alvin Ailey Dance Studios, right by Central Park, genius teacher, especially when it comes to working out, you know, before you start to dance. This is what she always taught us to do. We always did a little workout before we danced and stretched. But he really didn't say anything. It was mostly just physical and movement. So he taught by just showing us. He maybe has said 10 words the entire 2 semesters I was there. Maybe 10 words. Very quiet man. Really good teacher too, Alvin Ailey. So many teachers though. I'll get more specific over the years. Most of the stuff you learn and you throw away, but it stays with you in a mysterious way. You know, they've said so many things, but you remember it because supposedly you never forget anything. You never forget a single thing. You remember everything. You just don't know it. It has to do with your connection with fear. You can remember everything someone has said to you. As long as you go back and you're not afraid, you can access all that memory. But I've had so many different teachers. I'm trying to think a good teacher to end with. Since I've been back from New York, I went back and worked with John Templin. He worked with me even longer. After even maybe like more than 10 years had passed. Almost 10 years had passed and he was still working with me. And he was a dance teacher, but he was also teaching and acting, but he was a director. I helped him on the Sage and Silo Theater when he was running the theater here. There was Robin Flatt, who worked at the Dallas Children's Theater when we did Charlotte's Web. She helped. So I've had a lot of teachers and friends. I always learn from my friends too, all my various friends. I'd like to thank Bobby Skez, and he knows who that is. It's Robert, who was he's a playwright. Vasquez is his last name. He taught me. He's the only director I've ever worked with that could bring out the reality in me. Because he knew me, he was a friend. And he was a good friend. And he could bring the reality out in me. No other director could do it the way he did, because he knew how to talk to me, he knew how to pick at my brain, and knew how to get me to be very real. Out of all those people that I've talked to, Rob Vasquez has helped me probably the most when it came to being like real. Because some of the performances that we have done together, especially when he directed, it was just amazing how I could open up and stuff. He's very gentle director and he's very intelligent. But they're all arrogant. All of them are kind of arrogant in a way, to a certain extent. But you know, you learn by watching, you learn by listening, you learn by hearing, you learn by being present. So everybody I've ever come across has been a teacher of mine to a certain extent. There's a student and a pupil relationship. And like everything that we do, we're friends. Even when we watch online, when you watch people vlog, you learn from them. I'd also like to thank YouTube vloggers for the information that they give out. Every day I'm learning. And here's a new teacher that I have that's on YouTube. His name is Rick Beato. I don't buy his stuff right now because I can't afford it. But he's taught me so much to listen to my own guitar, because I play guitar. And he's taught me so much information. Just watching one of his shows, when he's dealing with the guitar, you learn so much. Anyway, I'm going to continue on and on and on and on about thanking people. I just, my mother, of course, Donna, who was once a model and an actress. She acted in a play at TCJC back in the day, to junior college. My mom has taught me so much about acting and being real and being kind and loving animals, and also just being a real person. Thanks, Mom. And she also she's helped me more than anybody on this planet, other, of course, Linda. Linda is very patient and kind and intelligent and poetic and beautiful. All right? Okay, I gotta drop this food off. All the way from Arizona, kind of see that over there. Also, I forgot about Sarah Jessica Parker. Sarah taught me to, like, you know, mostly to self-control, because it was hard for me not to jump out of the chair and like kind of kiss her. I know, I'm talking about Sarah Jessica Parker, leave alone. I know Matthew Broderick's out there, so I'll leave it at that. I'm just joking. She kind of glowed under the lights. She taught me how to glow under the lights. Oh, Sarah Jessica Parker taught me some stuff. She taught me first, and this was only like her being interviewed by James Lipton and listening. She was really nice to Modi. I think Modi got on the show. Thank you for getting Modi on the show. We all love Modi. Modi asked her a question. Modi's like a stand-up comedian, I think. But anyway, Sarah Jessica, she said, you always want to have one good thing, like one good steak knife. You want one good steak knife, or, you know, one good cup for coffee, you know. I don't know if that always works out, but there's some truth to it. Also, she taught, like, she never listened to the director. She'd pretend like she was listening to the director because she already knew what she was going to do. Now, this is probably not like completely true, because she shows up to the set and that's listening to the director. But she, you know what she means, because she was saying that, and sorry if you're not getting any work right now, Sarah Jessica. She was saying that she knew what she was going to do and she would just do it, you know, ultimately. And she would pretend like she was listening to the director. So thank you, Sarah, for teaching us to pretend like we're listening to the director. Just to pretend like it. At least pretend like it, and then you'll probably end up really listening. Yeah, if you pretend like you're listening, then you'll end up listening. Matthew Broderick probably goes through this every day. Matthew didn't show up, but his spirit was there. He was doing the producers at the time when she was interviewed. Attention to all those that don't know about musical theater. The Producers is a musical. He wasn't really doing the producers. He was doing the producers at the time when she was interviewed. But listen, I learned so much from all these people, and I've got so many stories. I met so many of them. I almost met Anthony Hopkins. So thank you, Anthony Hopkins. Thank you for letting me almost meet you. I almost met him in West Hollywood. No, it's actually Hollywood at this this guy's, I go through this every time. It's so painful. He's a Meisner teacher. I met him too. Thank you also for interviewing me for that class. And I really do appreciate that. It's really nice that you interviewed. I can't think of your name right now. That I looked you up the other day. Your class is like actually still there, which is amazing. But it was in a hangar. It's in a flight hangar in like near, I think, Santa Monica. I think it's a Santa Monica school. I could be wrong, but John Ruskin. I can't think of his name right now. I always have to look it up on the internet. School of Acting. He's got a class. He's done a lot of interviews on YouTube, but he used to bring Anthony Hopkins in, and Anthony Hopkins would talk with him. He worked with Sanford Meisner. Sandy is what they call him, Sandy Meisner, and he has a class out there in Santa Monica. I think it's in an airplane hangar by an airport, and it's a real special class, but it's kind of expensive. But they learn the Meisner technique, the Sandy Meisner technique. And he talked to me before I ran off to the actor studio, and I was going to join his class and everything, and I was going to meet Anthony Hopkins. But thank you for that, and me almost meeting the great Tony Anthony Hopkins. Anyway, and two others. I just remember Ellen Burstyn. She talked about a movie she had done, and she was at the actor studio. She talked about isolating parts of the body in one aspect, and then right next to her was, what is her name? I know it's Parsons. She was in Bonnie and Clyde. She taught too. She taught us something important. I think it was I'm going to have to look it up, but her last name is Parsons. And she taught us to not only cry, that you don't get out of it that way. That people in life try not to cry. And sometimes actors will just go right to the crying. Ooh, squirrel! And he's got a weird tail. Look at that. Look at that weird tail. He's got a special tail. he was brought in just for this shot. Look at that. It's a marked tail. He's got an albino tail. I gotta look up Bonnie and Clyde and find this actress's name. She won an Oscar for this house right here. She taught us that you don't want to purposely cry. You don't want to purposely cough. That it's got to come out of you. It's kind of crazy. She also talked about when you're preparing for a scene, don't listen to other people's music. And guess what? We can't. There's copyright infringement. So you can't listen to other people's music, but you can listen to your own music. If you're preparing for a scene, it's better because it's more honest. They taught us honesty. That's a simple truth to it. They taught us honesty. That's what they shoot for, is honesty. They just want you to be honest with yourself and others. And if you have to lie, then work through it. But she taught us honesty. It's this house right here. Honesty is important. I just know that her last name is Parsons. I'll look it up in a minute. All right, her name is Estelle Parsons. I guess I'll start with that. So she was talking to us about how people don't purposely cry or people don't purposely cough. If you're playing someone that's ill or sick and they have to cough. And that's what I learned that day. So that when you go to the actor studio, and I just hope that people can kind of understand that it's a very serious place and they're very real. When you go there, it's time in a way to get serious and learn to let go of a lot of the false notions that you thought you needed. And when you become a real honest person, things change in your life, and I think they teach that. Why is it important to be an honest person? Because if a writer is writing something serious, and they lay it all down on paper and you don't take it serious, you're killing them, you kill them. Because they need you to take it serious so they can do well and make money and live. I know that sounds crazy and it sounds mean. But if it's just a big, people blow it off, then people won't want to watch it. Because people love earnesty, they love honesty, and they love sincerity, and they like helping people make money. You gotta be able to buy groceries, right? You gotta be able to do all those kinds of things, right? Because if you're dishonest, and blow it off, then sometimes people don't want to see that. So, but you gotta do the best you can, and then God will provide. That's what I would teach. Do the best that you can, and God will provide. If I could teach anything, that's what I would teach my students, ultimately. I wouldn't just come in and say, do the best you can, and God will provide. You got to bring the wheat into the barn from the harvest. You got to go out in the harvest, out in the field, no matter how many English classes you take or how many acting classes you take, you got to go out in the field, you got to rake it off the ground, and you got to bring it into the barn, even if you're an actor. You still have to do it. And it's hard, and it takes a lot of courage, and you know what? You could fail, and if you fail, then what? That's why I believe you got to believe in a God. Find the God that you love, go with that God. I suggest Jesus Christ. I have to. Sorry, I know it's a stumbling block. I know people want to walk out at that point, but I have to suggest him, and I know he's going to be on my side. He's my defense from all the BS. Just like Micah Nelson says, or Willie Nelson's son, that everything is BS. It comes from a bull. It drops down from a bull right behind him. But regardless, find out your king, your Messiah. Go with that and stick with that, because eventually you'll have to. And I promise you, Jesus, he won't leave you. Ultimately, he won't leave you. In the long run, he'll be there. Just like Daniel Johnston says, you'll find love in the end, and that's who he is. Now we got past that. You do have to think about the reality of the situation, and that's what the other guys teach, because you got to take that script and you got to make it your own. Now, if you're doing a vlog show, you still have to be honest with who you are and what you believe in. You still have to be honest to the people that you love and things like that, and about the things that you do. You still have to be an honest person as much as you can. You can't just walk into the gates of Walt Disney World. You got to pay. But you know what? Adam the Woo might be able to teach you some kind of discount plan, DVC points or something, Disney Vacation Club or whatever. He might be able to teach you something about that. I don't know. But there's ways to make money, all different ways to do it. And people can't explain their loves. They can explain it just on this channel. All they have to do is press a button and point the camera relatively clear and talk. Thanks. That I talked about all the great names, which aren't, they're important, but not to your career. It's to me. I'm being thankful to people for certain reasons. Now I want to talk about the play. Here's how the play works. Not in all cases, but in many cases. You get the actors together. The writer's there, known as the playwright. And he tells everyone, he says, all right, troupe, because they're called an acting troupe. We got a play that we're going to do. And everybody's got to memorize those lines. And then I'm going to kind of tell you where to stand, and then we'll be ready to go. Not all plays are done that way. Sometimes it's far more detail, but that's the basic of it. The writer wrote all these words for a certain reason. Here's the play. Memorize the crap out of it, and everyone brings their talent on the table. The only time things get messed up is when the lines are not there. Then we got to work around that actor because he got too James Deanish. Or what they call, he went all Thesbis. Thesbis was the first actor. He didn't know his lines, so he went out and started making stuff up. It might happen. But everybody else that wants to stick to the script, let's fight to do that. we got a Robin Williams over here. But anyway, really, there is a reason for words, and let's pay attention to them. Now, if you're a mime, just shut up. Do cool-looking moves and teach us the new type of theater. But that's only if you're casting the play for that moment, and the mime will talk to the director, and they'll work out some choreography. But ultimately, what I'm trying to say is this. The words are important, okay, in a play. Memorize them. Know them by heart. Know them like second nature. Know them well, so that by the time you step out on that stage in rehearsals, the director's not yelling at you, because you'll get yelled at if you don't know them. You'll also get fined on Broadway, because the writer makes a point. He wants it said the right way. So we got to know that. We got to know that. You make an agreement, then we got to play. Now, how do these country and western stars and rappers and musicians do it? Because they treat it like a play. Every day they wake up and they go over those lines. They go over those songs. At least they're doing improv only, like kind of like the Smile, like Radiohead is. Kind of Radiohead's doing like a lot of improv stuff. Pink Floyd did some improv stuff too, but we'll talk about improv later. That can work in a play too. But it is important though. It's important to know the song, or you're just playing the guitar. Hey, and then when you're playing the guitar, you know the different chords. Relatively you do. You know, at least this chord can go here and it can, blah, blah, blah. Now, I don't know how all of them did it. All these musicians and all this stuff, but it's very similar to a play. Very, almost exact. They know the chords, they know the moments, they time it all out. They try to get it, and if it works out really, really good, it gets all Crosby, Stills, and Nash, which they only rehearsed 3 times before they got up on Woodstock, but I believe they rehearsed all night. You can rehearse for 6 hours and you're good to go. You're good to go for concert. Now, a play, it just depends on the play. Plays can be rehearsed for a week, and they can be rehearsed for months. A movie can be rehearsed for months. They can work on rehearsals for 2 or 3 months. and then start the movie up. They could do it for 6 months. There's been one Shakespeare play that was rehearsed for a year. They rehearsed the play for a year, and they had it down by the end of that year. That was Shakespeare, though. But you know what I mean? It could be a week, it could be a year. And I'm still going, Papa's on the porch, Mama's in the kitchen, making her braids, TV in space, screen tones red, getting a little white, into the blue of the night. I'm still doing that stuff, and I'm still looking over the script. All right, looks like it's gonna be half-baked peanut butter, which is probably this one right here. Go through everything else, make sure. Oh, they got Netflix right here. It'd have to be this one. Getting kinda red, turn it all away, going all blue into the fray. Getting kinda red, turn it all away, going all blue into the fray. Getting kinda red, turn it all away, going all blue into the fray. A little bit of taco casa will be dropped at your doorstep. Still turning red, maybe a little white, till she falls blue to the night. Still turning red, maybe a little white, till she falls blue to the night. Still turning red, maybe a little white, till she falls blue to the night. Still turning red, maybe a little white, till she falls blue to the night. Still turning red, maybe a little white, till she falls blue to the night. Still turning red, maybe a little white, little tongue. Still turning red, maybe a little white, still she falls blue to the night. Still turning red, maybe a little white, till she falls blue to the night. Still turning red, maybe a little white, till she falls blue to the night. Still turning red, maybe a little white, till she falls blue to the night. All you musicians know what I'm doing. Still she turning red, still she turns red, maybe a little white, till she falls blue to the night. Still turning red, maybe a little white, till she falls blue to the night. Till she falls blue to the night. Still turning red, maybe a little white, till she falls blue to the night. Maybe a little red. You think those musicians don't work at all. All they do, no, all they do is work. Still she turns red, maybe a little white, till she falls blue to the night. Still turning red, maybe a little white, still she falls blue till the night. Still turning red, maybe a little white, till she falls blue to the night. Still turning red, maybe a little white, till she falls blue to the night. Taco casa. Here we go. One more time though. Still turning red, maybe a little white, till she falls blue to the night. Just want to make sure I get that one. Still turning red, maybe a little white, till she falls blue to the night. Hey, y'all. There goes chicken. Circulating, y'all. Okay. The bunny rabbit that stole Easter. Or is that the Grinch? Yeah, it's a Grinch in a bunny rabbit outfit. You'd think. For all you boomers, and for Generation Xers, and Y and Z, and the rest of them. The red, white, and blue into the night. It's written in code. Because I know some of y'all are getting older. Y'all heard the same song over and over. And I might say fallen blue, FALLEN BLUE, and a certain part of the song towards the end when I say, tell old red, miss old white, fallen blue into the night, fallen blue into the night. Reason why is because falling, as in FALLING, is a little bit different. And I think I say that too, maybe. So there's, the English majors are going to love this song, is what I'm going to say. The people in English majors departments, they're going to be like, man, I see what he's saying. He's using small little, changing up a little bit of the English language a little bit, and then, just get that message through. It's kind of written in code. So Papa's on the porch, Mama's on the kitchen, making her braids, TV in space, screen tones red, little bit of white, fall in blue to the night. Taxman say, farm got ignorant, shine on my line, got a little time, getting all red, turn it all away. Going all blue to the fray. Going all blue to the fray. One little part goes, getting kind of red, turn it all away, going all blue to the fray. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Papa's on the porch, Mama's in the kitchen, making her braids, TV in space, screen tones red, getting kind of little white, fall in blue to the night. So Papa's on the porch, Mama's in the kitchen, making her braids, TV in space, getting kind of la 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 la. Gotta play with it a little bit. Here we go. Papa's on the porch, Mama's in the kitchen, making her braids, TV in space, screen tones red, get a little white. Let me look at something real quick. Love these next few shows. Papa's on the porch, Mama's in the kitchen, making her braids, TV in space, screen tones red, little bit of white, fall in blue to the night. Taxman say, farm got ignorant, shine on my lines, got a little time. Getting kind of red, turn it all away. Going all blue to the fray. Kids in the backyard, dog in the bone, chicken running circles, all alone. Angels in the front yard, put the dog in the hall. There goes chicken, circling y'all, still turning red. Turn a little white. Oh, that's actually maybe. Still turns red, maybe a little white. Little bit white. Till she falls blue to the night. Gotta look at that one too. Papa's on the porch, Mama's in the kitchen, making her braids, TV in space, screen tones red, little bit of white, fall in blue to the night. Taxman say, farm got ignorant, shine on my lines, got a little time, getting kind of red, turn it all away, going all blue to the fray. Kids in the backyard, dog in the bone, chicken running circles, all alone. Angels in the front yard, put the dog in the hall. There goes chicken, circling y'all, still turning red, maybe a little white, till she falls blue to the night. Got that part. Wag the dog until the dog wags you. You better wag that dog before the dog wags you.